How many of you were raised here in Seattle? How many of you guys remember Stan Borison's show on TV way back when?
Zero Dawkins.
Okay, so here's the deal. I will do a call. The call is Zero Dawkins, and the response will be Mucho Dawkins. You ready? Zero Dawkins.
Mucho Dawkins.
Excellent. Okay. Tonight we're going to talk about business before pleasure, so we'll talk about the future of the club for a little while. And then we're going to go on to the Wonderfest for a rundown of the trip by Paul and a rundown of the show by Preston. And then after that's all done, we're going to see Preston's stuff on the table and then send him off so he can catch the ferry. And then the rest of us will go on to the rest of show and tell. Okay? So here we go. The future of the club. The club is not going to die. We're going to keep it going. At present, our plan is to meet at local libraries. I have reservations at a couple libraries for the July show. After I talk to you guys a little bit, I will call the library and cancel the one we don't need. And the plan is to continue for the future, meeting in libraries every month. So we'll need somebody to arrange for library meeting rooms. That can be me, or it can be a volunteer from the club. Okay. So here's the deal for next month. Next month, I have a reservation at the Issaquah Library for the second Thursday at 7:30. And I have a reservation at the Kenmore Library for the third Thursday at 7 o'clock. Now, how many of you people would find Issaquah to be more convenient than Kenmore? Who prefers Issaquah?
That's more convenient.
Who prefers Kenmore? Okay. So here's what I will do. I will call up the Issaquah Library, cancel my reservation, and our next meeting will be on the third Thursday at the Kenmore Library at 7 o'clock. And then I will make a reservation. I have made a reservation for Kenmore for August too. So the next 2 months we're covered, and that gives us plenty of time to hash out. Are they tearing down the building? That gives us plenty of time to hash out where we're going to meet, where we're going to try to meet in the future. Now, a couple of people have talked about the Linwood Library. Elliot has volunteered once he gets back on day shift to make appointments for us at the Linwood Library, and we'll just keep that order on hold until we find out whether you're truly back on day shift or not.
Yeah, it should be pretty soon.
Okay, great.
And I have a library card for Linwood also.
Oh,
Yes.
so do I. Oh,
Okay, well, whoever takes this on, it would be a steady month after month chore to schedule the room, tell me, and I'll send out the meeting notice. So it would be an ongoing obligation. You couldn't fall sick or get run over by a car or anything. That would be bad.
When you reserve it months ahead, like I want every single month.
The King County Library System, and I suspect Linwood is the same, will only let you reserve a couple months at a time.
Yeah.
So I can only reserve Kenmore a couple months at a time, and Linwood, I think Steve said he thought it was 3 months at a time. So anyway.
There's an idea. Find out who's all got a snow wild card. One guy goes in, reserves it for free. Then the next person goes in.
No, I'm sorry. What that means is today I couldn't reserve it for a date later than September.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, now, the other big question we have is Sci-Fan, and I talked about this in the email that you all got. I think Sci-Fan is probably pretty much dead without a radical change in the structure of the club. To hold a big show without the sponsorship of a hobby shop with a meeting room, you got to rent a meeting room, and that means suddenly your club has to handle money. And a club that handles money has a constitution, it has a treasurer, it has president, it has vice president, and it has dues. I know you guys are probably all against dues. So what I suggest, unless you guys want to go that way, we could probably formalize this organization. I don't think I'm the man to lead you through that change, so I would have to resign at that point. But if one of you guys out there feels that you would like to do that, we can talk about that in the next couple of months too. We got plenty of time to do everything. There's nothing urgent here. What I would suggest instead is that at the IPMS show in April, is it, Terry?
Yes.
In April, we just pound the tables with science fiction stuff.
Yep.
And I think that I will probably pony up for a couple special awards, probably big walkie thingies and best cheerful fantasy subject. I urge you, if you want to go to the IPMS people and offer to sponsor an award like that. The more participation we have, the more seriously we're taken. And we know what happened to Gundams. IPMS added a couple Gundam classes, so we could probably get the science fiction coverage increased if we can show up there in force many times. Hi, Gil, come on and sit down.
Thank you, sir.
so
Tim, what do you have to say?
Those special awards can be any creative thing you
want it to
Any
be.
damn thing you
Yeah.
like, precisely, yes. And you can choose them any way you like, too.
And I think the fee is 50 for
Yeah.
special award.
Yeah.
Costs about
I'll
50.
pony up for a couple at the next IPMA show. Jill?
And you can always talk to Terry because they have elections and
Well, you're
he's
the
the new vice president.
Way to go, Terry.
After being president for life, he kind of stepped down and now he's stepped back up.
The other thing, John, what do you have to say?
Is there a hope we can still do, club builds for,
Yeah, that's the other thing we can do, is we can have little club challenges, like, you know, build something from 1890 and have it done in 4 months, and then we'll hand out some sort of, I don't know, a certificate, some sort of cheap prize to the guy who wins. We'll decide it by vote or something. Yeah, we can do those easily.
That's
and then
easy.
beyond that, we have a current club build, which is that spacecraft, we have to use part of it for something else. that you might-
Oh, right, yes, that's right. Oh,
Could we,
That's the modified.
could we have that fit to the April event? Maybe
the-
it's a deadline, it's long.
The IPMS thing, which used parts from the Convair NEV1, is done. That was done in April. We still have it outstanding for SciFan. Since there will be no SciFan, I suggest that we at the September show, we all show off our NEV1 based vehicles.
Yeah.
At September meeting, I mean, at the September meeting, we all show off our NEV1 based vehicles, and there'll be some sort of meaningless prize sponsored by me for the best. Unless it's me,
Just go
Morgan.
within the club.
What's the state of the previous group build of all of the 1/1000th Enterprise?
You know what's
Well, here they are.
Ah.
Now, I don't know what Mike intends, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't intend to take this home with him. So my suggestion would be, if you have an enterprise here, then you take it and take it home with you, and we'll just consider this project to have been wrapped up and dissolved.
Okay.
And I think what's gonna happen is if you don't take it home with you, it'll probably end up in the dumpster eventually. I can't imagine Mike hanging on to such a bulky thing. Okay? Let's see, what else do I have to talk about? I think that's all. So the club's not dead, SciFan is probably dead. I think there's hope oh, there was one thing I want to talk about. I think there's hope in snowing the IPMS show in April. I think
Yes,
that'd be-
absolutely.
Okay, now the other thing I gotta talk about is libraries are a lot more public venue than this is. So I think we're gonna have to say no naked ladies, and any ladies that do show up are gonna have to be pretty tasteful. Otherwise, they're gonna kick our asses out and we're gonna be SOL.
You know, that must be a note to self.
Yes.
I didn't say anything about guys.
Well, that's true. So, it's been a while since I've been to the meeting here too, and we've recently lost our shop that we were running. We're going to be recommended meetings, but we're looking for a new spot. And I just want to tell all of you guys, once we do find a place, the intention is to have enough room to hold events, roughly a room this size. So, once that happens, hey, it's entirely up, I'll let everyone know, and you can consider that a possible permanent home for a club. if you so desire.
Sci-fi and cookies.
That would be so
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm sure we certainly have.
Homemade, right there.
Yeah.
Cookies come to you.
Thanks, Chris.
This will take 2 seconds. At this point, I'd like to move a vote of thanks to Mike, who's been everything we could possibly.
Thanks for taking this care of us, Mike.
And I'm sure we
Just
all
like
wish
to
him.
pass on the good fortunes that Bob started, so thank you guys. for supporting us.
Thank you.
Wish it was in better circumstances, but thank you very much for all you've done.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mike.
Oh, and buy stuff.
Awesome.
Well, there's one other thing, in keeping with our new, excuse me, gents. In keeping with our new status as the Galaxy Exiles Science Fiction Club, Preston has come up with a kind of a rough draft for a new club logo, and he wants to get together with Steve Sturgis and talk about it. So that'll be emerging in the next month or two.
Okay.
Is there any other business we should cover before we go on to the Wonderfest rundown?
Everyone take your badges with you.
No, I will keep the badges and I'll bring them to the meetings, okay?
Okay.
I've also
Never mind.
purchased this projector, so we'll have that at future meetings too.
Oh,
How about the screen?
And
How
Mike,
about the screen?
no, I don't. We'll just have.
Libraries usually, meeting rooms usually have
No,
screens.
Kenmore does not, but we can show it on the wall.
I bet they have a blank wall.
Oh, wait, slow down, guys, you're too fast for it. John, what do you got?
I have a portable screen I can bring.
Great, bring it to the July meeting.
Okay.
Okay, Elliot?
Down the road, if once we get kind of figuring out where we're gonna be, we were talking about getting new t-shirts. I run across this lady that does these embroidered shirts, and they're not that much, and they're nice, and guess what, she's homegrown, right out of Wooden Mill.
Okay, well, let's keep that on hold until we come up with a logo.
Yeah, once,
And then
when we
we'll ask-
get back, when we get to that point.
And I think Preston has volunteered to take care of t-shirts for us. Ken, are you trying to say something or just scratching your ear?
Actually, I did. So, since everybody's here, I just want to address that. So, Steve's gonna handle pretty much emails to communicate everybody else's. Me and a few others in Facebook pages are admins, and Terry's is also supervisor and yourself. So we're kind of trying to keep it up on Facebook as well. If you guys don't have it, just go up on emails. And also, I did actually, for past few of them, but this is also, I'm keeping a video recording for the meetings that everybody's missing. Meetings so they can review those and they can catch up on agendas or any other one. So look at the Facebooks. Facebooks and YouTube links I sent out on email. So and I do appreciate it. It's some for the feedbacks because my comments are open, good or bad or you suck. Doesn't matter. It helps me to just improve my video editing skills. Which is actually this is gonna be a hobby one that I actually kind of did, so appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
You definitely do not suck.
One more thing, if you didn't get an email from me within this last week telling you about this meeting, that means you're not on the email list, and you need to give me your email address at the end of tonight. Did anybody here not get the email about a week ago saying we're gonna have a meeting? Good, well, that's good, that's encouraging. Okay, Mike, would you like to tell us about this cake, please?
Oh, that's up there is Texas sheet cake, which my mom made, John's grandmother, and so it's half of it's got peanuts in it, and the other half it doesn't. So plain ones for people who might have peanut allergies, and it's really tasty. So there's napkins and plates up there. It's just good finger food. So enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I guess that finishes our business. Let's go on to the pleasure. Paul, you want to give your trip report? As I explained before, we'll let Preston do show and tell first because he's got to catch the ferry.
So, one of the things I bought was a whole bunch of Jimmy Flintstone, and I think they're supposed to be gear shift knobs.
Oh.
It is what they're initially made for. But I just found these really cool. You got a Devil Frankenstein, you got an Elvis Frankenstein, you got a Cyclops Frankenstein. I got the classic kind of Harryhausen type Frankenstein.
It'd be hard to stick your hands on your
A million times.
I don't think that's
Great for painting up, those are so colorful. And a cute little Godzilla.
That's mine.
And I mean, you can never have too many alien eggs. So I got another alien egg. That gentleman I talked to you about, B.P. Taylor, that I liked his models, this is actually one of his original designs, and he had decided to make it as a kit called the Arcadia. And it's a colonizer ship, and so I bought one of them from him. And it's just expertly cast. Not only is he a good designer, he's a good manufacturer. I don't know who he is doing all his work, but really nice model. And then the other last one I thought I'd bring in was this figure I got of James.
Look at that.
I mean, it looks spot on to his, and this base is as cool as he is.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
every bit is cool.
And then it comes with an even cooler helmet. And it actually goes on him if you want it. But I mean, I saw that face and I just went, wow, that's him.
Who puts that Conan kid on?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
It's
But yeah, so And that is what I brought to show.
I guess we might as well just continue from that end. I see a brown starship kind of there by.
That'd be mine.
This discovery.
Yeah, so here's my latest project. Anyway, this is my first experience with all decals. And it actually went on pretty well. So I think the model's a little too small for its intended size, I guess. But the detail that you really don't see. Other than that, I had a pretty good time with it. Not too bad. Pretty much it.
All right.
Cool.
All right, I got a few things. I brought a few things that I bought. So Steve Hilby actually found this for me, although I paid him for it, but it was his find. So this is a little, Casey Love put out this little sort of alien squished in a door type of thing. So he's kind of tall and skinny. He's got a couple of tentacles that come out the top. So this is kind of something fun. This I picked up from Troy McDevitt. It's a little sort of super deformed T-Rex. And Elliot, I don't know how, he's got 2 fingers on his front paws. Okay, not paws, whatever you call it. So what my thought was here is to mount him sort of on a big column, like a Roman column, and have a bunch of little teeny tiny minions in front of him. The minions movies, so they're looking for their new master.
Like minions, the old ones.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that movie, but that seemed like a cool little.
That's like that one scene.
So I got him. Blackheart Enterprises, which puts out the 1-to-1 scale stuff that Dave usually paints up and scares his animals, has this new little kit, and it's a predator, and he's just this big, so he's maybe 12th scale, something like that.
Yeah, that would be about right.
And he's sitting in a little pod. I'm gonna take his torso off, but he's got this little pod thing. So I guess it's like an entry pod that he comes down to his planet of disruption.
So George is a Micromania, is that right? So
It's not that he's got a whole set of little busts.
yeah.
So this is a little bit different than that.
Yeah, I think he's calling me Micromania.
Yeah, but it was really cool, and you can mount it up like this. It's got a bunch of little nozzles and other crap on it, but really well cast and really nice. So I picked up one of those, and the coolest thing I found, it was in plastic bags. There's no picture of it. It's a Cthulhu, and it's a clockwork Cthulhu, and this is the body, and it's solid. It's huge. It's got a big old. That's legs. You can see the other leg. It's gonna be massive. And he's got arms, of course, and wings. So we'll have a wing coming out on each side. And they got big, like the bones will come out that way, and I'll have to put some sort of vellum or something in between. So he's probably going to stand about like that yay tall. It's just in a plastic bag back on a table somewhere. And I've never seen one before. The guy wanted $200 for it.
I'm so pissed you don't.
He didn't have to ask twice. So that's what I brought for show and tell. And
I guess I'm next. I'll just point and talk. I bought a neat little commemorative Life magazine with Godzilla in it, lots of nice pictures and kind of a rundown of the Big G's history. And then next to that is a little bust of a horned woman that I found, and I thought the sculpting on the face was unusually nice. And it's very intricate, and I'm not sure how I'm going to paint it, but I'll figure it out. Ken, I think you're up next.
All right, so I'm just gonna talk from here. So like Paul's actually worked on those Yamato 2202. Those are custom free from that series and Congo and Blasame and what was it? Yeah,
the small one.
Small one. Yeah. So I finally finished it, decaled it, and put a bunch of the what do you call Tamiya's the pastel thing to make it darker or to wash out. So I hope it's good. Paul's gonna be judge on me on that.
Very nice.
Anyway, it's finished. So That's it.
Jeff, tell us what you bought at Winnipeg.
Well, seeing as I'm not really a road trip sort of a guy, I don't really want to take the time off work for that long drive anyway. I flew down and flew back, but I had Steve and company. I just checked empty suitcases over and then filled them up and gave them to Steve, and he drove them on back. So I literally got all this right now, which is why my suitcases are under here.
The bill for the gas is in the mail.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. There's some minor stuff I'm leaving aside, but Terry asked me to look, since he couldn't go, for some figure kits at Jimmy Flintstone for him. And first thing I did was I didn't see any girl kits that didn't seem like they'd been there years before, but I saw this Herman Munster that was drunk with a bottle, doing an expression and flipping the finger off,
Right.
which I liked. So I got that and then told him, if you don't like it, I'd love to have it, which is why I already bought it. And he just wrote back, "It's all yours, buddy." So that's what this is. It's you gotta. If I can pull the face out later, the expression on his face is just really great. It's classic. What you'd think a really drunk, nasty Herman Munster's like.
And that was in Jimmy Flintstone, you said?
That was at Jimmy Flintstone. And then since me and Hilby counted ballots for the NRA, the Naked Wrestling Attack, Jimmy always rewards us with some kits, and that's one, the tiny little figure I'm not showing you, and then this little Betty Page is what I grabbed in addition to that, so this was free. Then I stopped at Filmies, of course, and got his busts of Pebbles and Nefertiti. He's releasing bust versions of most of his major kits now, and those are really nice. Yeah, I'll see those online, but you're going to live with the box art because I ain't opening them. And then I also, at Sean Kyle's, grabbed this Mary Jane. Well, it can be Mary Jane or it can be Gwen. Either one if you want it, depending on what color you paint her hair, but it's going to be Mary Jane for me. And she's basically just tugging the Spider-Man shirt down. She's got panties on, and it's real sexy. A lot of you have probably already seen that. Then, there's Blackheart Enterprises put out a couple years back this Carolina model. You saw one and painted up in the slideshow there. And the thing is, the first year I didn't get it. The second year I went back for it, determined to get it, and all they were selling was half scale instead of quarter scale, which is too big for me. And for a couple years it's been that way, and this year I found this at a different vendor table who sells like kits he bought elsewhere, you know what I mean? So I don't know where it came from, but I finally found a quarter scale Carolina, so I grabbed that, and I have no idea how I'm going to paint it. Very well. That's the Strachosaur bust that I painted in the Friday class. And what I like about the AFM boot camp class, most of the other classes are airbrush based, and you either bring your own airbrush compressor or you have to buy one from them. That kind of stuff. You don't finish the kit you're working on. This class, it's all brush painting, and it's always, their goal is to finish the kit and have it, and they encourage you to enter it in the contest the next day, which I did. It took a merit, so I'm happy. Then there was a guy there, Sean, what was his name? Nikita Lebedev, I don't remember his last name, but he's a really good sculptor. He does design work in Hollywood on a lot of critters and stuff. He worked on The Shape of Water, for instance. He does some cool things. This, I don't know if you consider a fawn or a demoness. This gives you an idea what she looks like assembled. This actually, Anya, that same girl who did those beautiful busts of these and stuff that you saw, she did, I think she got a major award for this kit at the Naked Wrestling.
She certainly got a gold. I don't remember.
She got a gold and I think something else actually. It was a really gorgeous buildup of it anyway. But yeah, it's got wings and horns and whatnot, and it's very interesting. And then he also had this gorgeous little fawn bust that I just fell in love with. If you look close, you get little owls here, a little monkey hanging in her hair here, and best of all, a little lizard right over her nipples so that it's family friendly. Yes, the lizard of censorship. So that's really nice. And then I didn't just want to get girl kits.
Oh yeah.
By the way, part of the reason there's very little hardware here is we didn't have Starship Modeler and we didn't have Federation models there this year. So there was a real dearth of hardware kits to be found. It was mostly figures this year. I'm told both are coming back next year. I hope that's true. So I looked around and what I found was this lovely Nosferatu kit. It comes with a lighting kit. So you can light up the inside of this church. It has a flickering firelight. The front piece will look like a grate, and then the side ones and this round thing on top, I'm going to paint up as stained glass with the light flickering behind them. And yeah, so this is from Quarantine Studios. They did a different one years ago that Tony found a version of from some vendor. It doesn't have the hat and has kind of the double button shirt, and it had a castle base instead. But they sold that to someone else to produce, and then they made a whole new quarter scale counter lock here in Nosferatu. So that should be some fun to go for. And I think that's everything we're showing.
Cool.
Awesome.
No, I was not at Wonderfest, but I brought something in because I just finished designing the decal pattern and I had Jeff print up and brought it to me. You remember the Scrooge and Marley kit that I've been working on?
Mm-hmm.
Well, time to do the chair. These are the decals I came up with, I designed for it. So it's going to get full decal pattern.
Excellent.
Yeah. So you can come up and take a look at these. There's like 4 sheets, so you print it up. So the green is just the background color. These are printed on clear, so everything you see that's white here will actually show the green through it.
Right. Wow.
So you'll be able to see it. So literally the whole chair surface is going to get decaled. But I just wanted to show that because Jeff is bringing these on for me.
I think that's it, gentlemen. Be sure to drop your nameplates off up here in this box preferably. And we'll see you at the Kenwood Library on the 3rd Thursday of next month. Kenmore.
Hey, Steve.
Thank you.